Large numbers of hand-picked local people were assembled in big halls, and a rather ritualistic process ensured, culminating in everybody in the room putting up their hands in favour of integration. Now, when you looked at those people, the ones that I observed, it was clear enough from the body language of some of the participants they were opposed to it. But because of the atmosphere, perhaps, or fear of reprisals to themselves and their families, or bribery, they voted.
We then took to the streets. That's how we mobilized the 5,000 youth, women, and the masses to demonstrate in the major center of the city of Jayapura. And so the crowd gathered together at the main square of the city, and as we were standing, people started singing, "Onward, Christian soldiers, marching us to war," something like that. And we all joined in and we were clapping hands and walk on the street. And mind you, the military was not very happy.
And they start shooting. They realized this is a serious matter, so they pull the tanks out of their hiding places, pull out the tanks, line up on the road, and start shooting. And that the demonstrators dispersed.
We were, in fact, actually we were standing underneath the parliament building. And as we were standing, one Christian Indonesian, he came and whispered to both of us, "Both of you are now in danger. Now that you're standing in public, you will be in danger."
So we left everything, nothing, just run for life.
Pursued by the Indonesian military, Clemens Ranaweri and Wim Zonganau fled across the border to Australian-administered Papua New Guinea. But their ultimate goal was New York and United Nations headquarters, where they planned to tell the world that the act of free choice was a farce. They were thwarted by Australian officials under pressure from Indonesia.
The immediate concern of Indonesia is that the early arrival of these two West Irianese at the United Nations could stimulate defiance and seriously upset the management of conduct of the act of choice within West Irian, June 1969.
Zonganau and Ranaweri were forcibly prevented from travelling to New York.
As we were about to board the plane, master of the Manus province, he came rolling up with a limousine type of a vehicle with the Australian flag, little flag, symbolizing the power of Australia, symbolizing the power of colonialism here in PNG then.
The man looks like an authoritarian type too. So he put his hands in his hips and said, "You two guys, Zonganau and Ranaweri, you come down or I arrest you." So we said, well, we got ticket, we got everything. We are on the way to leave this country. So and then said, "You are under arrest." So policemen came, grabbed our hands, took us down.
Well, the tears were dropping, and that was the end of it.
The Australian authorities detained the pair on Manus Island until the act of free choice was over. Their complaints were never heard. At Jakarta's golf club, one of President Suharto's regular partners was Australia's ambassador to Indonesia, Gordon Jokl.
I did play golf with Suharto, and I thought it would be an opportunity to convey to him some of my impressions and to bring home to him that while the act of choice had worked, that there were very long-term problems which would require a lot of attention and sensitive handling. But as soon as I mentioned that I'd been there, and he's a very impassive man, But his face lit up and beamed, and he said, "Wasn't it wonderful?" He said, "the way they responded and their enthusiasm in joining Indonesia." So I just hit my next shot.
The game was over. West Papua was now West Irian, the 26th province of Indonesia. And the rewards were more tangible than mere national prestige. There was Freeport, one of the richest gold and copper mines in the world.